Hi, this is Julie from Love's Beginning, and today I wanted to talk about seeing the true self everywhere, the invitation to see that is everywhere. So, what I've been told about it lately, I've said this before, but it's just going deeper, is that every situation we're in is our opportunity to see through the personalities and to realize when I'm in a certain situation, what I want is not something from a personality. It's not, I, I don't want to get something. So if I believe that I want to get something, that's a belief I'm being given the opportunity to surrender, like attention or approval or somebody doing something for me or um, tangible things. It's the opportunity is to see who they are and to take this invitation deeply everywhere, and not just when I'm with somebody uh, physically, but when I think of somebody. The intention that's suggested to me, that is the way it's put to me, is it's to my benefit. It's for my happiness and for my perceived happiness of everyone else around me, to intend to see the true self shining through everybody. So that definitely pulls the rug out from under judgments, because I can't access that level of perception when I am at the level of judgments. Judgments, in my experience, are plentiful and noisy, and they proliferate, they multiply, they it's a very busy mind that's judging, and the mind definitely sees itself as separate, and it sees itself as under threat, and it sees itself as lacking. So when that comes up, sometimes that can be extremely painful. I had a period of time today that was extremely painful. I was identified with that separate self. But that's the opportunity when the layers come up and it's apparent how painful it is to identify as a separate self. That's the opportunity I'm receiving to um, I think it still takes the form of, I realize the feeling I'm feeling. I I realize the thought that I've attached to the feeling, and then I find my willingness to surrender the thought, because I can see that it is not doing me or anybody else any favors, and I can see more clearly now. Sometimes time has to pass. I don't even remember what the thought was. I just remember the pain. But I can see that that thought definitely came from insanity. It definitely came from ego. It didn't come from anything that I am. So in our calmer moments, we can see that and feel that. Sometimes we just have to sit through the storm and then see later, oh, I was under the spell. It becomes clear to me that it's very much a hypnotism, and it's a painful hypnotism. And it's both sides of the coin. If I think that I, as a separate one, am either good or bad, you think it would be more painful to think you're bad than to think that you're good. Um, but if I'm a good with an opposite and somebody else has to show up as bad, that means when it's that other one's turn to show up as good, then I have to show up as bad, and it's fundamentally unstable and painful. So that is helpful, because if you keep touching a hot stove, you might begin to realize that hurts, and I'm not going to do this again. Um, what is intriguing to me is that it's not just being with people in the physical, it is when they come to mind. And if I notice the mind making decisions about them and making decisions about a future and condemning them or myself, um, then that's an opportunity too. That's a sacred opportunity to allow the distorted thinking to surface, to allow, I just isolate it to one thought, because one thought stands for all the other ones. And then if I have another episode later, I'll find that thought. Um, Sometimes I have journaled and put down a whole bunch of thoughts all at once, but what's really being shown to me it's all just the one thought. I am separate. I am capable of harm. I am capable of being harmed. It's just a belief in the thinking that the separation is reality, when in fact it's our unity. So that thing that's real. So that thing I'm encouraged to see, instead of being at the level with all the judgments and all the mind activity and all the decisions and all the decisions about a future and all the analysis of the past, instead of staying at that level, what I'm invited to is so simple that I forget to stay there because it's not a habit. Where I'm invited to is just the awareness of who we all are and that there really is only one of us, and becoming accustomed to the fact that from that level everything can come. From that level, everything that the body or the character seems to need to enact in the story can come easily as a gift, because we're all worthy of gifts. So when I'm not preoccupied with what I want the character to be, or how I want the character to look, or how I want the character to seem in comparison to another character, when I'm not preoccupied with that, that's the busy, crazy level, and I go down to the sane, calm level, then whatever the character needs to enact can be enacted easily. And as it's being enacted, if the temptation to judge this character or the other characters floats up to the top, that's good. That's the celebration. That's what moving through time as this character is for. I mean, if joy happens, obviously that's good too, but I'm always encouraged to see when I seem to step into a puddle or run into a bump on the road, that's good because I haven't let go of something yet. And that right there is exactly my opportunity to let go of it. The thing that I stepped into today was the pressure of having kids coming at me and interpreting, this kid needs me to listen. This kid needs me to perform a physical action right here. This kid needs me to go over there and do that stuff. And I could feel the anger coming, the overwhelm and the anger. And I thought, okay, I'm trying to enact this as the character who's supposed to be kind, who's supposed to be nice, who's supposed to be a listener. And all that's way off. I can tell because I can feel the anger coming up. Not because there's something wrong with the character, like the character didn't set boundaries, or not because there's something wrong with the kids, like the kids should calm down and back off. It's the perception. There's something wrong with the perception, and the anger and overwhelm arising means stop and allow the reset, and then there isn't a problem anymore. So that is new habit forming too. As much as I think I've worked on that, the fact that I went into anger and overwhelm shows that it's like pathways or habits. It's a strong habit. It's a strong habit to identify as the doer and to make decisions about what is good and what is bad. What is good is listening to one's child. What is bad is ignoring one's child. What is good is fulfilling a request someone makes of you. What is bad is failing to pay proper attention or be kind enough. So beyond all that, this is good and this is bad and this is what should be done and this is what shouldn't be done, if I can go beneath that to the same foundation, then it all takes care of itself. Maybe the expression of the kids changes. Maybe my response changes. Maybe the whole situation changes in some way, but something's different. And that something different isn't because I got better at something or stopped being worse at something. It's not because the character got better. It's because the being is always worthy. It's just like there's this thing to tune into that's available to everybody at all times. This level of perception is always available to everybody. And the way I see it now is the more of us realize that and just stop and tune into it instead of expecting things from the characters outside of us. The reason I'm feeling this anger and overwhelm is that you blah, 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 blah. That's not true. I know that's not true. So if I stop and I tune in to sanity, it's like the sanity station. If I stop and tune into that, then I see something on my screen that I've never seen before. I'm doing a live video. Oh, that's Vera. Hello, Vera. It's nice to see you. I don't think I've had anyone ever do that before. That was fun. Okay. So anyhow, if I, and I see I have 2 people watching. Okay. If I go down to the level of sanity, and that's all me, that's all my decision. It's not anybody else's decision. It's always my option. Then what seems to happen is that everybody else has access to that station too. So I think that's all I had to say. Just that the Sanity radio station is always available to all of us. But if we take the responsibility to go there first, we'll see that everything around us reflects that back to us. So good luck to me and good luck to you. And thanks for tuning in. Bye.